Welcome to this video on the importance of start positions in defence. So let's run the illustration as it happened on the day. Okay, so out to the centre back, there's a player over the top. The red team join in, and it finishes with this take around the keeper, and it's a goal. So let's run that by again and dissect what happens. And I'm showing it just to emphasize the importance of starting positions in defence. So here the ball's been turned over, the keeper's going to play it. We are not doing a high press here, obviously. So we are in the realms of deliberate defence. He's about to kick it now, so let's have a look at what has happened as a result of that deliberate defence. In particular, the start positions of all the players concerned. So first thing to look at is the position of the defence. And as you can see, we've got this sort of shape here. And the position of the midfield, which is a bit more convoluted. And we talked about this before the game. Our position when we are in defence is a position of two banks of four with a number 10 in front on top of the triangle, providing protection in front of our defence. We're nowhere there, of course. So what should it look like if we were doing it properly? Well, let's first of all identify our two centre backs, which are here and here, who have taken up what looks like a pretty decent line along here. The midfield is sort of anchored by George here. I think it's just slightly in advance, but it's a reasonably good line. So this is the line of the second bank of four. And then we're expecting to see probably the 10 at some stage recover to the area of where the, at least in line with where the referee is. So this is going to require some time in advance of this particular kick for our right back to recover to here, our left back to recover to here, our left midfielder, God knows where he's got to, into here, our right midfielder to here, and the other defensive midfielder to recover, at least in line with the current central midfielder. And that would give us the balance that we require in order to stop what happens next. So just to emphasize it, because I can't emphasize it enough, the positions that are missing, that should be there, are here for our fullback, here for our other fullback, here for our right midfielder, here for our other defensive midfielder, and probably here for our left midfielder. And I'm not too unhappy with our number 10 being up there, but eventually he needs to recover to about here. So if you imagine that the positions have been taken up correctly, first of all, this is going to stop this area here becoming completely open and playable. But most importantly, it stops completely this ball being played. This one, which is about to play over the top to here. Because when we rerun this back right at the end, you'll see that one ball takes out this defender, who doesn't take any part in the rest of the defence, and this defender here. In effect, what he's created by that ball and by our start positions is a 3-on-2 situation against the two centre backs, which when the ball is played well, is not a very good situation to be in. So let's see what happens when he plays this very well flighted ball over the top of our right back and into that space that's been opened up here. Like there's a big space that he can see that needs to be played into, and we'll see what happens. Here we go. So we're now beginning to get into trouble. The ball's going to land in this area here, and quite rightly, the right-hand member of the centre-back partnership here has to come across and cover it, which means that this chap here has to cover it, to cover him, and move across to where the right centre-back should be. What we really need, if this left-back had started sensibly here, is that we would have had some cover for that particular movement. Not ideal, but we would have had some cover for that move in this area here. Because you can see this area here now is extremely vulnerable. This area is pretty bad, but this is very vulnerable here as well. Now have a look at this player here, who is their advancing fullback, this guy here. And he is now going to run straight past at speed our right back, who is being completely taken out of the game, and he's going to create a two-on-one against our centre back, which is going to get us into deep trouble. So let's look at that movement happening. So now this centre back is about to come into play. If we run it through a bit more, now we have a 2-on-1 against our right back. The person who should be covering us here, if he had been in the right position, is our left back. We're now 2-on-1 against this chap here. Again, we could have got away with it if our left back was in the correct position as well. We'd then at least be 3-on-2 rather than 2-on-2. You can see already this area here is beginning to open up I'll just get rid of that one, for who is actually their left winger to run into this space here. That is beginning to open up as well. So let's just run it through a bit more. And you'll see now the 2-on-1 has happened. We're taking the centre back out, and again, we could get away with this. Let's again just let's note the position of our right back, who is now here, and our left back, who should be by this stage about here-ish. Ready to stop this next thing. We've got 1-on-1 against the final defender, and George is going to try and stop it, but this winger here is going to make this run in here and put a 2-on-1 against our centre back, our final centre back. George is going to try and stop it, but if we had this defender here, this would probably not be a run that he made, and if he did, we could cut it out. So let's just see what happens next. So unfortunately, a good recovery by our centre back here doesn't quite cut the mustard here. Again, please let's notice all the positions. We're now going to go 1-on-1 against the keeper, because that's what's developed as a result of that initial setup. So if we have, as one would hope by this stage, if we have the correct first starting position, is we would have we'd have a fullback here, and we wouldn't be left with our right back not even in play. So you can see that initial ball has taken 2 defenders out, and we are effectively 1, 2, 3 against the 2 centre backs and the goalkeeper, which is not a good position to happen. So we'll run it through to its demise. He gets through in front of George, and in it goes. There's not much that George can do. He's run all the way from centre midfield to get back to that. So let's just look at, again, this position here. If we get our starting positions right, so we have a proper back four line in its correct position, and a second row of four in front of it, second bank of four in front of it. Then, for starters, this pass never happens because it's just not on. And other passes will happen, like maybe this pass to here, but they're not dangerous because they're playing around in front of our defence. And this game is about probabilities. By setting up in this position here, where we've set up in some really weird shape, with no back four, no back lines, or and sort of people all over the place, we have opened ourselves up to the probability that that ball gets played, and this ball, when it is played, it takes out two defenders from our back line of four. They never recover. They can't recover in time to make any difference whatsoever. So this player here, let's get a box to him. This player here and this player here are taken out completely by this pass. Let's run. Here we go. Now we get a 1-on-1. Now it's a 2-on-1. The third player joins in, so it's 3-on-2 now, and it's a goal. And that all comes from that start position. So it's something that we have to learn to do, is that when we get into deliberate defence, we need to adopt correct start positions. i.e. two banks of four, with a cover in the front of the number 10. So that's the importance of start positions in defence and what happens when you don't get them correct.